Hello, everyone. Welcome to How to Host Live Events Using Microsoft Teams. My name is Christian Wykes, and I'm the marketing specialist here at Corporate Renaissance Group. We're creating this short video for users who want to know how to host and manage live events on the application. Recently, we held our first live webinar, and it was a huge success. So we wanted to share with you now how to use live events to train and engage others. I'll be joined by CR Group team members so that we can go through what these events look like from multiple angles. There are a number of options to collaborate using Teams. In previous webinars, we've talked about how to get started with Teams and how to make the most out of it. You can find these webinars in the on-demand section of our website. Today, we'll touch on what are Teams live events, how live events are different from Teams meetings, when to hold live events versus a meeting, specifications, and Teams live events, how to schedule, host, and access them. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to today's host. Elizabeth Brown is an expert in all things around sharing collaboration and leads the projects here at CR Group for Teams and SharePoint. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, everyone, and welcome. As we mentioned with the agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about what Teams live events are. So it's sort of a way to broadcast information. There's a presenter, producer, attendee roles. Attendees can ask questions via chat, but they can't talk. So it's a little bit more of a formal presentation where there's a number of people presenting and then a number of people, a much larger audience that's receiving this information. So a Teams meeting, it's a smaller group. It offers the capacity for everyone to participate. So especially if you're using some of the features in meetings like whiteboards, everyone can start drawing on the whiteboard. And a live event is much more about sort of broadcasting information. An example of that obviously is the Teams webinar we had last week. We had 2 presenters and we had quite a lot more people than that coming in and attending. So live event specifications. So just to remember, with a Teams meeting, the maximum you can have in a Teams meeting right now is 250 people. Microsoft will probably increase that limit because they keep improving Teams and then the limits get bigger and bigger. But right now the limit is 250 people. The live event maximum, though, is 10,000 people. So you can see with a live event, you can reach a lot more people than a meeting. The maximum time for a live event is 4 hours right now. You can have 15 going on at once in your own organization. Live events have captions and subtitles. So if people are coming from it, they speak a different language, you can have sort of automatic subtitling or captions for people who have trouble with hearing and stuff. So there's some accessibility features built into live events as well. Currently, the maximum is 10 presenters, and there's public and anonymous attendees. So you can use it within your organization, and you can use it outside of your organization. So let's take a look. We're just going to bring it up. So right now, this is the desktop application. The live events only work in the desktop application. You can't schedule them from the web application at this point in time. Basically, you're just on the calendar tab, and then you go to when you want to schedule it, and then you go up to the new meeting tab up in the top right here, and you want to click down, and you see there's a schedule meeting, and then there's also a live event. So you're just going to click on live event, and then you can see there's sort of, here's the details about the event. So the title is pretty simple. We'll just call this Demo Live Event. You can add in a location. We currently don't have locations set up, so I'm just going to leave that blank. I'm just going to say 2 to 2:30. So you can put in some details here about the event. So you can see right now I'm a producer. I can actually type in some names here. So I can add Christian. And I can make him a presenter or a producer. So there's slight differences. Producers have more access than presenters. So I'm just going to make him a producer so he'll have the same level of access as me. But again, of course, you could just make someone a presenter if they only needed to deliver a particular segment. So when I click next here, you can see that it's saying live events permissions. So I can make it very specific so that I only want certain people or groups to come in, and then I just have to type in the person name and group here. Or I can say it's organization-wide. I want everyone in my organization to be able to come in and watch this. So let's say it's a training video or something like that, where it's like, oh, we have, maybe it was a shareholder meeting or something like that, where you want to give information about stock prices to the whole organization. You don't necessarily need the same level of interaction you might have with a meeting. So that's where you might use an org-wide, a live event. Where a public event is just, it's going to be open to everyone. That most of the attendees are coming from outside of your organization. They don't need to sign in, so they can get into it without any authentication, which is really useful in terms of what's going on. And then what you can say is whether you want recording available to producers and presenters, whether you want attendees to be able to record or not. You can put captions so that, and then you can choose some translation languages here. So you could say, I want it to be translated into French as well. The attendee engagement report, so if you have that checked, that means afterwards you can download that, and that sort of shows you when people came in and when they left and sort of how engaged they were, as per the name. And then there's a Q&A, which by default isn't checked, but if you do check that, what that allows you to do is that when attendees come in, there's a Q&A panel so they can type in questions and you can answer them. The external app or device, we don't have any of that enabled right now, so that's just why it's grayed out. But if you have that enabled within your Teams administration, then you can actually sort of put in external apps and devices within your live event. So then there's a support link here, so you can customize this. This is just taking you to support.office.com, but if you have one that's specific to your organization, so in our case it would be like crgroup.com.support, then you could also just direct people to there. So once I hit schedule, okay, you can see now it's scheduled it, and you can see that it's saying invite attendees. To invite the attendees, you say copy the link or send it as a calendar invite. So I'm just going to copy the link, and then see there's like a join if you actually want to start joining it, or a cancel meeting. So I'm just going to close that for now, and then I can go over to a chat window. So I can just start to talk to Brittany here. I'll also just send it to Christian. And then if I just copy and paste that, then they'll have the link. You can also email it to people, or you can have it as a link on a web page. It's just that's the link that people need to get in. If I come into Chrome here and I'm just going to paste it in here, it just wants you to actually use Microsoft Teams to open it. I want to just watch on the web for this one just so I can actually show you what you're seeing. You can see when they come in, welcome to the live event, sign in or join anonymously. So I'm just going to say I want to join anonymously. And then there's just this sort of a live event hasn't started. And then there you can see the Q&A panels actually showing up over here. That's what people will see if they click on the link anytime prior to the live event actually starting. Let us just go back into Teams. I want to go click back into my calendar, and then you can see, so I've got the demo live event here. You can see that there's this join, so you can just click that. Here you are with how you can set up your live event. So over here in the queue where it says add video or content below, so what you can do is you can queue up a video of your own video, or you can actually share some content and put it up there. So for now I'm just going to share. I want to go grab the PowerPoint slide, and now you can see that's showing up here as content. So if I can click on that, and that's going to show up there. So that's being sort of queued up. If I hit send live, it's going to sort of send it across. But you see, and so then you see the start button shows up, right? It's just sort of saying, well, this is what I want to start with. I want to start with this PowerPoint presentation, then I'm going to send it across, right? When I hit start, it will give me a little prompt saying, hey, if you want to start, you can't change it. You want to make sure that you're ready to start it, because once you start it, that's it. It's just going. So I'm going to hit cancel for now. The other thing you can do is you can sort of queue up different videos. So I'm going to actually see there's this little camera icon, so I can turn on my camera. Okay, so now you can see me. So I can also, there's sort of like, here's a PowerPoint view, like just a content view, and there's also an add video link. So you can put a little video on the side. So if I click on that add video, because this is the only video right now, I can just click on that, and that's going to show up here as well. So that when you can then have it so that people can see content as well as a video of a person talking next to it. Let's get started. So I'm going to hit start here, and that's actually going to start the live event. So that means that whenever people come in, that they'll actually be seeing that the event is going. It can continue for 4 hours, but once you start it, you can't stop it. So make sure you're ready. So now people are seeing this. The event's actually live, so people could actually hear what I'm saying. And this is the content up here. Right now, it's just this screen, but if I hit send live, what that's going to do is it's going to send across the little image of me as well. So this is what's going to be live. This is what people would be seeing is in that red live event box with the how to host live events PowerPoint and the little video screen. That's what people is going to be seeing. And so, Kirsten, do you mind just turning on your video camera so I can show how we can switch off?
Yeah, for sure.
So because he's here, so now I can actually can queue him up. And then when I'm ready, I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch over to Kristen so I can send live. And now his camera is going to be live, and that's what people would be seeing. And then if I wanted to, I could actually come back over here, and then I could queue myself up as the next person to be coming. If you're sharing content, so if I have content here and I want to send that across, so the content's there. So you can see you can have content and the person. On the other hand, sharing, Christian, do you mind just sharing your screen just so you can see how it changes? What happens is when he goes to share the content, it will, it's just going to replace mine. So he'll share it first and then I'll share my screen again so you can kind of see that process.
And so I'm getting the notification, are you sure you want to share? Something is being shared in the live event right now. So that'll push it here.
And then you can see his screen is now being shared. So it's actually live. So when you want to change between screens, you just need to make sure that you've sort of walked through your presentation and make sure that the changes are pretty clear. Because if I go and share now, so if I want to go back and I grab that PowerPoint slide again, then again, I'm going to get this prompt, are you sure you want to share? And that's just going to go live right away. So you're not able to queue up the sort of content sharing in terms of if people need to share screens, you're able to queue up the different videos so that if you want to have videos of different people talking, you can have that sort of queued up and waiting. But with the sort of actual live content, you just want to make sure that you have it sort of planned out so that the transitions are pretty seamless and smooth, because otherwise, if I just stop sharing my content right now, then what's going to happen is because there's no video and I've stopped sharing the content, there's just going to be the live event will continue in a moment. So that's going to be a little, it could be rather disconcerting for people attending the live event. They're like, hey, what happened? Why did it just stop? So just make sure that as you're sort of planning it, like who's going to go where, if you do have to switch between screens, you just want to make sure that it's all planned very seamlessly and so that everyone knows what to expect. So that's sort of how live events work. You can add content, you can share screens, you can share PowerPoints on your screen, and then as well you can share videos so that people can see you as you're talking. There's over here, there's a little Q&A panel. So if anyone was attending and there were new questions, I could see them here. There's public questions here, and then dismissed just means that they've been dealt with. There's a chat window here. So if you're doing a presentation and someone's talking and they're sort of like you have a couple of presenters and a couple of producers and you don't really want to interrupt that person who's talking, so you can just sort of chat with the other members. So that can also be something that's very useful, chat window. So you can actually kind of just say where you don't want to sort of distract the person who's actually doing presenting. It's kind of a useful feature having that option there. There's also some sort of health and performance, which is telling you about like how your video processing, what your estimated bandwidth is. So you can kind of see all that here. And then there's a meeting note. So if you need to, you can actually make some notes here and take notes throughout this meeting. That's a feature that's just generally in all meetings as well, but it's useful that within the live event, if you need to be making notes, you can. Once you're sort of done with it, you hit the end button, and then it's just saying, once you've ended it, it's done. So it's just giving you this prompt to make sure you're really ready to finish it. So you can hit end live event, and now it's ended, it's over. Click out of leave here. And then what will happen is, so you can see this is the chat here, and then you can see those were the files that were shared within the chat. There's the meeting notes that are here, which we didn't do any of those. But so you can see that the meeting notes, if you had done them, they would be just available right there. The other thing that will happen is if you had an attendance report, which would be, because I don't think we actually had anyone come in, that would be downloaded as well and put in your download. And then you can actually look at who came in and who exited from who was in the meeting through the attendance report. Thank you. So now it's time to start hosting your first live event. If you want to learn more about Microsoft Teams, be sure to check out our on-demand webinars on our website, as well as numerous blogs. If you want to get started with Teams, don't hesitate to contact us via our site or email us at crg@crgroup.com. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.